the creepy doll. Back in the day when I was just a little kid, I got a doll for my birthday. I don't remember who it was from, but it wasn't just any doll, though. It was this creepy-looking thing with button eyes that seemed to follow you around the room. I named it Lily, thinking it would be my new best friend. At first, everything was cool. I'd play tea parties with Lily, pretending to pour invisible tea into her tiny cup. But as the days went by, things started getting weird. I'd wake up in the middle of the night, and Lily would be sitting at the edge of my bed, staring at me with those soulless eyes. Freaky, right? I thought maybe I was just imagining things, so I asked my parents if they noticed anything strange about Lily. They just laughed it off, saying I had an overactive imagination. But I knew something was up. One night, after another creepy staring session with Lily, I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed the doll and chucked it out of my room, thinking that would be the end of it. I felt relieved, thinking I'd finally gotten rid of the weird vibes. The next morning, though, I found Lily sitting on my dresser, as if nothing had happened. I freaked out and ran to my parents, telling them about the doll's supernatural ability. They exchanged puzzled glances, but weren't too concerned. Days passed, and the cycle continued. Every time I threw Lily out, it would come back the next day. I was convinced the doll had it out for me. I even tried locking it in a box and hiding it in the closet, but Lily always found her way back into my room, which creeped the heck out of me. One night, I decided to take matters into my own hands. I dragged Lily out to the backyard myself and tossed her into the trash bin. I watched as the garbage truck took her away, hoping that was the end of all of this. The next morning, I went downstairs for breakfast, expecting a Lily-free day. But when I walked into the kitchen, there she was, sitting at the table, staring at me with those unnerving button eyes. I couldn't believe it. My heart pounded as I grabbed the doll and showed my parents. This time, they looked worried. My dad suggested maybe it was a prank, and my mom thought it might be a neighbor messing with me. But deep down, I knew it wasn't a joke. Lily was determined to stick around, no matter what. I swear sometimes I could see her expression. I could see her angry. Desperate, I begged my parents to get rid of the doll for good. They hesitated, but seeing the fear in my eyes, they finally agreed. That evening, we drove to a remote area, far from her house, and my parents tossed Lily into a pit they dug in the ground. We covered it with dirt and said a little goodbye ceremony, hoping that would be the end of it. But as we drove back home, an eerie silence filled the car. I couldn't shake the feeling that Lily wasn't done with us. My mom turned on the radio, but we didn't get any radio signals. I couldn't believe my eyes. The next day, I woke up to find Lily sitting on my bed, dirt stains on her dress as if she had clawed her way out of the grave. I immediately panicked, and I screamed for my parents. They rushed into my room, their eyes were wide with disbelief. That was the breaking point. My parents were scared, and I was terrified. We couldn't escape the clutches of this possessed doll. My parents decided to take extreme measures. In the dead of night, we gathered in the backyard. My dad held a canister of gasoline, and my mom clutched a box of matches. We looked at Lily, who seemed to mock us with her lifeless gaze. But I could see her expression. I could feel her emotions. I felt angry. I felt her anger. The decision was made. My parents burned the doll, hoping it would finally put an end to the nightmare. As the flames engulfed Lily, we felt a dark energy lingering in the air, and I felt rage. The crackling of the fire echoed through the silent night. We watched as the doll, now reduced to ashes, crumbled away, hoping that it would finally put an end to the nightmare. Days turned into weeks, and the memory of Lily haunted us. But life took a more sinister turn when my mom, who had been overjoyed about her pregnancy, began experiencing strange and ominous things. Late at night, we kept hearing faint whispers echoing through the hallways. Day by day, we felt the air was becoming heavy with an unnatural presence. We didn't feel safe at home or anywhere else. My mom's once glowing complexion turned pale, and her joyous anticipation for my new brother transformed into a constant state of fear. One stormy night, my mom was jolted awake by a terrifying vision of her lovingly holding a baby, but it was limp and lifeless. Lily's evil laughter echoed in her ears, and a strange figure resembling the doll hovered at the foot of her bed. Terrified, my mom woke my dad, recounting the haunting encounter. They rushed to the hospital, fearing for both the unborn child and my mom's safety. The doctor's face turned grim as they examined her. The once healthy pregnancy had strangely taken a dark turn. Unexplainable complications arose, and the doctor struggled to understand the problems of the sudden complication. We were devastated as the once promising life inside my mom's womb now fighting to live. As the days passed, my mom's health deteriorated alongside the unborn child. The atmosphere at home became tense. It was only filled with terror and devastation. Not long after that, one night, as the storm raged outside, there was a sound of someone ringing the doorbell. She went to take a look, but slipped and fell down from the stairs and was rushed to the emergency room. The air was thick with silence as my dad and I waited anxiously for news. I have never seen my dad so worried. And it was the most heartbreaking news I heard. My mom had suffered a miscarriage. The unborn child, the innocent child, a victim of the sinister events, was gone forever. I will never get to see him ever. The aftermath was a blur of grief and sorrow. My mom went mad. She told everyone that she felt someone deliberately pushed her down. She wailed and screamed in agony for weeks. She had to go to therapy sessions. A couple of years later, my parents tried to conceive again, but the same cycle repeated. This time it just got worse than before. My parents were so devastated, and they were never the same again. If you found any enjoyment in the video, I implore you to click that like button and subscribe if you dare.